Right now, on to the point. Millions of Americans are facing an increase in health insurance costs. How lawmakers are working to help.
So we're not increasing the deficit. We don't have to raise taxes.
As a community continues to mourn, more victims are identified from Stockton's mass shootings. A high-stakes showdown over tariffs. Costco goes to court. What it could mean for shoppers heading into the holidays. And spotlighting growth in West Sacramento.
We're trying to set that bar higher in Sacramento.
How the Bridge District is becoming a destination. You might be one of the millions of Americans who are facing major increases to your health insurance premiums. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Bell. Leading our show tonight, the two California Congress members who introduced a bipartisan bill with the hopes of helping those who rely on the Affordable Care Act. Now, more lawmakers have joined to co-sponsor the bill. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is here to share with us how this legislation would work if passed, and also why bipartisanship was so important for this specific issue.
Alex, it's a big shift from the back and forth during the government shutdown we saw a few weeks ago, with both parties blaming one another for the shutdown and failures to find solutions to keep health care costs low. Now, two California lawmakers from opposing parties are coming together to help their constituents.
Tax credits under the Affordable Care Act are set to expire by the end of December, and as it stands, it would dramatically increase the cost of health care insurance for millions of people nationwide.
The Fix-It Act would address skyrocketing premiums from health insurance by extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits by 2 years.
Introduced by Democrat Congressman Sam Liccardo and Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley, the Fix-It Act aims to overhaul the program and keep that coverage in place. Right now, monthly premiums for people enrolled are expected to jump an average of 97% once those tax credits expire, a change that would hit nearly 2 million Californians who rely on Covered California.
Enacting other measures to help pay for it, to reduce broker fraud and to reduce the insurance windfalls that have been accrued by too many insurance companies through Medicare Advantage programs.
Kiley says it's important to note that this would not add to the national deficit.
So we're not increasing the deficit. We don't have to raise taxes. And we also spare people from this massive increase in healthcare costs.
Because of the looming deadline, Kiley says bipartisan support is key in getting this bill passed and signed into law. The bill currently has 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans as sponsors, with more looking to be added from both sides of the aisle.
I think that the White House does want to see a deal here, but ultimately it's up to Congress to take the initiative to actually pass legislation. So we've been building support for our proposal in a bipartisan way.
At this time, this bill is not scheduled to be heard, but both Liccardo and Kiley tell me they're hopeful relief will come to their constituents. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. Governor Gavin Newsom is in New York City today. He was one of the main speakers in the New York Times annual Deal Book Summit. It's a day featuring live discussions and interviews with influential leaders in politics and business and culture. Newsom joined a lineup of speakers, including the leaders of several major companies, the president of Taiwan, and the U.S. Treasury Secretary. Enthusiasm has grown for Newsom as a 2028 presidential contender after his Proposition 50 win. Today, he was asked about a possible run for president. He didn't commit to an answer, but emphasized that his focus is not on the future, but what's happening now.
For me, it was all about 2025. It was about fighting fire with fire. It was about being accountable, not just rhetorically, but substantively, to address what Donald Trump is trying to do to this country. He's trying to wreck this country. He tried to do that on January 6th. Tried to light democracy on fire.
Newsom also talked about the state of the Democratic Party moving forward into the next election. All right, now to Stockton, where heartbreak brought hundreds together. 4 people, including 3 children, were killed at a 2-year-old's birthday party over the weekend. Tonight, the community is gathering to honor the lives lost to this violent crime. ABC 10's Nazi Javid is there for us tonight.
We just put the 4 flowers there.
4 families in Stockton are facing the first days of unimaginable loss.
The shooting was back there, and then we loved the kids.
After 3 children and 1 adult were killed at a birthday party mass shooting.
One of the victims was our student, 3rd grade girl.
8-year-old Journey Rose Rio Tudor Guerrero was a Stockton Unified 3rd grader, curious, kind, and creative, dreaming of becoming a cheerleader and one day a doctor.
A tragic event, but almost unbelievable when you hear a teacher talk about telling her 3rd grade class that their classmate was killed. Some started crying, and that others got up and wrapped their arms around their classmate to comfort them.
The heartbreak runs even deeper here because Journey's mother is part of the school district.
Her mother is part of the SUSD family. Her mother is one of our teachers.
The shooting also claimed the life of 8-year-old Maya Lupian, an outgoing third grader who loved to dance and sing and draw and earned a purple belt in karate. 14-year-old Amari Peterson was also killed. His father told ABC 10 the party was meant to be a simple celebration, calling him the perfect gift from God.
It's just something that a father should never have to go through.
I just hope that, he's in a better place.
Neighbors like Brittany and her son stopping by to pay their respects.
We don't know Amari, but we just want to pay our respects to, what happened, especially being that we only live 2 blocks away.
The fourth victim, 21-year-old Susano Archuleta, died at the scene. His brother told the LA Times his 9-year-old daughter was also shot, but survived. And as Stockton mourns, students, teachers, and families are leaning on each other, trying to make sense of a senseless tragedy.
Absolutely devastating for these families. And there is another gathering that's happening tonight as well. Greater Christ Temple is hosting a citywide prayer service on Thornton Road, inviting the community to come together for healing and unity. That does start at 7 o'clock at 6:36 now. You still have time to make it out there. And there are links to verified GoFundMe pages for the families. They are up right now on our website over at abc10.com. We are also hearing from advocates who have been on the ground since Saturday night's mass shooting. Community activists say that they are working closely with local youth to help calm tensions and prevent any potential retaliation. Nuri Muhammad, a former program manager with Advanced Peace Stockton, says tensions are high following Saturday's deadly shooting, where, again, 4 people lost their lives, especially since no one has been arrested. Muhammad is now working in partnership with the Office of Violence Prevention, trying to address some of these tensions within the youth.
I don't want to do a whole lot of talking with a whole lot of people, but there are some trusted individuals that they don't mind, talking to people that they're already familiar with. That's why credible messenger mentoring is big.
Muhammad says the only problem with getting more boots on the ground is that the Advanced Peace Stockton chapter has been closed due to funding, but he is hoping that the city officials and the community can advocate for more funding to bring back some of that much needed programming. Still ahead on To The Point, President Donald Trump unveils a plan to weaken fuel economy standards for new cars. The sharp reaction tonight from environmental groups and Governor Gavin Newsom. And Costco, they are suing the Trump administration, arguing tariffs are hurting shoppers. The new legal battle and the political fallout.
Well, temperatures tomorrow are going to take another drop, but we're going to see the return of some morning fog. Mid-50s tomorrow, cooler again. Full forecast after the break.
But first, another headlines tonight. A doctor who sold ketamine to Friends star Matthew Perry before his overdose death was sentenced today. Dr. Salvador Plasencia will spend 2.5 years in prison, plus 2 years probation. Plasencia pleaded guilty before he was set to go on trial, admitting he knowingly supplied ketamine to Perry. Perry died at age 54 in 2023.
We intend to stand up for Nana and fight for her however long it takes.
The first wrongful death lawsuits have been filed over the UPS cargo plane crash that killed 14 people. At least 2 families are suing UPS, Boeing, and General Electric, which made the plane's engine, alleging that older aircraft were being flown without the increased maintenance they required. UPS and GE said in part they do not comment on pending lawsuits. And flu cases are on the rise. The CDC estimates more than 1 million cases so far this season, with 450 deaths. Respiratory illnesses usually go up as the weather gets colder and people spend more time indoors. Doctors say the best way to reduce the risk of the flu is to get vaccinated. Welcome back in. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra is streaming on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can watch it Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Then ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app is free wherever you download. Let's get things over to meteorologist Brendan Minchef with a look at our forecast for today.
Yeah, and it was, as expected, a windy Wednesday. Some peak wind gusts today. Vacaville saw 33 mile-per-hour gusts. Sacramento, 29. Marysville, 28. Colusa, 23. Most of this was, as expected, in the Sacramento Valley and out through the Delta. Stockton only saw a 13 mile-per-hour wind gust. As we look at high temperatures today, those winds did help to warm us up. 62 in Sacramento, 62 Marysville, 65 in Vacaville, 65 in Fairfield. Still cold in the high country. They only made it to 39 in Truckee, 40 in South Lake Tahoe. It was a warmer day with that high temperature of 62 degrees. That would make it the warmest day since November 15th when we hit 66 degrees. That was 18 days ago. Right now, 51 in Sacramento, 47 in Elk Grove, 47 Stockton, 47 Manteca, 44 Modesto, 40s in the foothills, already in the 20s up in Truckee, 28 degrees in Truckee. Winds are not as strong, but we are still seeing some winds on the west side of the Sacramento Valley. Not much wind down through the San Joaquin Valley. That wind will continue to taper off over the next few hours, and that will allow some fog to form once again in the valley on Thursday morning. It's also going to be cold. So cold temperatures in the 30s and some patchy fog to start Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon will be notably cooler as well. We're going to be back in those mid-50s across most of the valley. 55 Sacramento, 54 Stockton, 54 Modesto, mid-50s in the foothills, and upper 40s in the high country. As we look at the weather pattern, that system starts to move out and high pressure is going to build in behind it. So as we go into the weekend and through next week, we're looking at a very stable weather pattern without a lot of change on the way. And so that means we're really not looking at rain or snow to return to Northern California anytime soon. Over the next 7 days, no rain or snow across the capital region and only sprinkles up across Shasta and to the Northeast Plateau. So just a very quiet pattern going forward. Mix of sun and clouds, some fog through the mornings. Temperatures closer to seasonal in those upper 50s. Maybe a chance of some rain at the extended part of the forecast, but that's still quite a ways away, Alex.
All right, Brendan, thank you. Right after the break, President Donald Trump looks to roll back clean car standards, how the proposal could impact pollution and your wallet, and new housing, new businesses, and a major waterfront project. A look at the huge developments reshaping West Sacramento's Bridge District. Welcome back in. President Donald Trump announced a proposal today to weaken vehicle mileage rules for the auto industry. If the plan is finalized next year, it would ease pressure on automakers to control pollution from gasoline-powered cars and trucks. The proposal would reduce fuel economy requirements through the 2031 model year. Those requirements set rules on how far new vehicles need to travel on a gallon of gas. This is the Trump administration's latest move to reverse Biden-era policies that encouraged cleaner running cars and trucks, including electric vehicles.
These policies forced automakers to build cars using expensive technologies that drove up costs, drove up prices, and made the car much worse. The action is expected to save the typical consumer at least $1,000 off the price of a new car.
Now, environmentalists are against this rule change, saying it would increase pollution and raise prices for consumers by allowing less fuel-efficient cars. Governor Gavin Newsom is also speaking out against the proposal. In a statement, he said in part, quote, "Let's call it what it is. Donald is handing his big oil donors exactly what they want, weaker protections for consumers and bigger profits for polluters." He goes on to say, quote, "California will defend fuel economy standards that protect families' budgets, our children's lungs, and our future." Black Friday and Cyber Monday are over, but holiday shopping, it definitely continues. We know that Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and other retailers say they had to raise prices this year. The companies argue that they needed the money in order to pay new tariffs. Now, one of the largest U.S. retailers is challenging some duties in court now.
Costco is suing the Trump administration over tariffs.
It wants the court to hold that those so-called reciprocal tariffs that the president started imposing on imports back in February, that those tariffs are unlawful.
The retailer is making its case in the U.S. Court of International Trade, but a similar lawsuit before the Supreme Court appears to be related.
Costco is trying to ensure that if the court rules that those tariffs were unlawful, that it will be in line for refunds.
Costco says it's been trying to keep down prices, but says tariffs make that difficult. It imports many items it sells and has to pay any applicable duties on those goods.
Some companies have raised prices, many companies haven't.
The The Trump administration is trying to convince the Supreme Court to let the tariffs stand. The president argues they're good for the country.
We're making a lot of money because of the tariffs that are pouring in.
Costco's lawsuit comes in the holiday shopping season. The Federal Reserve reports affluent consumers are still buying luxury items, yet spending is declining for low and middle income Americans.
There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody.
It's not a scam. It's the lives that people are leading.
Now, Costco has not yet specified how much the tariffs have cost the company. Some experts say other companies may also file suit to try to get the money back if the tariffs are ruled unlawful. All right, stay with us. Right after the break, the big changes on the West Sacramento waterfront. We'll show you the project reshaping the skyline and what's still to come. All right, coming up tomorrow on To The Point, we are spending the entire half hour on the city of West Sacramento. But first, we want to highlight one of the city's growing areas, the waterfront. With the A's temporarily calling Sutter Health Park home, the Bridge District is buzzing, and a massive project called Pierside is at the center of it all. ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha takes us inside the city's home run transformation.
In West Sacramento's Bridge District, the skyline is changing fast. A sign of the city's biggest build-out yet.
These things don't happen overnight.
The main player behind most of the build-out is Fulcrum Property, and Fulcrum's president Randy Koss has a front row seat. We spoke to him a few months back.
So when we start looking at the waterfront, we start to think of aspirational projects.
One of those projects, Pierside, a 7-story mixed-use development with more than 260 apartments and townhomes over 2 levels of parking, plus a new 5-story commercial and amenity building with a fitness center and a pool overlooking the river.
Everybody deserves to have a resort-style pool, fitness on the river and on the waterfront.
The new building will also house Fulcrum and Brown Construction, who's helping bring the project to life.
This project's flying.
And it is. The difference from earlier this year to now is hard to miss. For Darren Henry, it's personal. His team has spent decades shaping West Sac.
We're growing our home, we're building our home, and a lot of them are going to be a part of building this structure.
And Pierside is just the start. In the Bridge District, new housing is starting to or coming online from other developers with Westgate Place 2 and Grand Street Apartments. Fulcrum is working on opening a life science campus near Pierside, and next to the Tower Bridge, Fulcrum's long-awaited River One hotel and condo project is inching closer to breaking ground.
We're trying to set that bar higher in Sacramento.
Koss says the city is planning to finish it with a plaza just north of Drake's The Barn over the next 10 years.
Imagine 6 to 8 to 10 restaurants on the river around a plaza where you have music, interactive fountains, farmers markets. That really doesn't exist in the region.
The goal? Make the riverfront a destination, with construction moving fast and the A's bringing new energy. The waterfront imagined is taking shape.
I don't think that there's a better view. If you were sitting on the Sacramento side, you'd be wishing that you were sitting over here looking back at it.
Reporting in West Sacramento's Bridge District, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
I'm so excited for this special to air. We've been doing these community shows, and before we get into the show tomorrow, I just want to say, if you think we should come to your community, please, please, please let us know. We've been spending a lot of time in these communities, and so that's why I wanted to bring in Jeannie and Becca to talk about the part that they played in helping put this together, because we spent a lot of time in West Sacramento, as we did with Elk Grove and even Folsom. But Jeannie, let me start with you first, because I know both you and I, we walked to Capitol Avenue a lot, talking to homeowners, business owners. So what can people expect to see in your piece tomorrow?
Well, I spoke with 2 longtime businesses, Capitol Bowl and Carol's Restaurant. They're along that corridor, and their experiences, being a business in the city for so long, and what they've experienced with the homelessness there. The city has bought some of the motels along that corridor, and it's currently being used as emergency housing. But with the Gateway Master Plan, that will be eventually turned into affordable housing. And so these businesses are telling me, what they hope for the future and how they think it will be for them.
Yeah, and 2 really opposing views,
Exactly.
right, from
Yes.
2 different business owners. Becca, I know you went out to Southport, talked to a wonderful, lovely couple that we all actually got to talk to. But talk about some of the biggest surprises that you realized in your reporting.
Yeah, as part of my focus on Southport for the special tomorrow, I talked with the 2 city council members who represent that area. And in our discussion, we were at Bike Dog Brewing, another West Sacramento staple. They said there are 4,000 new home developments in the work. And I said, citywide? They go, no, just in Southport. So a lot of housing being built right now in Southport. And of course, we can't talk about Southport without talking about Club Pheasant, that famous community restaurant, that hub where a lot of kids got their first jobs in the kitchens, families went to celebrate milestones, closed, about a year ago after the better part of 9 decades open. And so the city bought that property. They're going to turn it into this great community space with a bunch of restaurants and even a space for a home kitchen entrepreneur to come into a brick and mortar location. So stay tuned for that. The city wants to open
renderings.
that. We do have renderings.
Yes, you'll see renderings.
2028 is when they want to open that.
Yes, thank you both so much. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 6:30 on To The Point. We'll be talking all things West Sacramento. You definitely don't want to miss it. We even head out to Whitey's Jolly Cone to bring you that family story. As always, thank you so much for watching, for always inviting us into your home, all of us. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.